So what we're going to talk about and learn from you is something that large brands experience on day-to-day basis, and also the small brands or brands who are looking to grow. And let's face it, every brand starts with the intention to grow. Is something that they need to be aware of so that they can create their infrastructure to monitor. So this was the challenge that you have identified, and then you started building something around it, and you're going to share with us some of the intricate details of it. So what you tapped into is really a multi-dimensional challenge. It's not just one thing. So tell us what that challenge is.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the key thing to remember is that big things start small, right? So even if you're a small company, as you grow, you're going to have to think about more sophisticated ways of running your business. And one of the things that my co-founder and I realized and thought about quite a bit is, as a brand grows larger and larger, the problems it has to deal with when you think about optimizing your profit margin down at the SKU level become more and more complex, because you have more levers, more dials that you have to churn. The interaction between those dials can be complicated, and you really have to think about how are you going to deal with that problem at scale. And typically when you think about it at scale, what you want to do is you want to have the right mechanisms, the right processes, and the right technology to be able to handle it. Because you're not going to be able to handle it through throwing more people at the problem or more time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just said something that completely resonates with me. Throwing more people at the problem, or even throwing more money at the problem, does not bring you the solution.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, because if you think about it, the most valuable commodity that any brand has, that anyone has, is actually time, right? And so when you throw more people at a problem, what you're doing is you're putting in more time, right? You're putting the time that each person can spend on it. That's one solution to dealing with complexity. It's actually a valid solution in some cases, but the other solution is, there's only really two. There's throwing more people, or there's throwing technology or tools at the problem. And what the technology does is it actually reduces the level of effort. So instead of putting more time on it, you're reducing the amount of time it takes you to tackle the problem. And that's typically what you want to do more of as you grow as a brand. So in the beginning, you throw people, but as you grow as a brand, you want to start to think about how do you bring technology into it, and how do you start to really understand the complexity of all of the things that you can do as a brand. Right? You have your pricing, you have your fulfillment strategy, you have your inventory strategy, you have your ad strategy. None of these actually operate in a vacuum. So what you have to think about is, how are they going to interact with each other? As you make a change to one of them, what impact does it have to another? That's the type of problem where throwing more people at it isn't necessarily going to help you. You really got to start thinking about how do you get the right tools in place and the right technology and the right way of thinking about it to solve that.